Today on Texas Home Improvement.
All right, you need to prepare the house for a cold weather night. You know, typically, unless the temperatures are going to get down into the mid to low 20s and stay there for a while, you usually don't have to worry about a lot of freezing. But even if you're going down to 30 degrees, I really recommend you undo the hose from your hose bibs. And the main reason for that, there's typically water in the hose, and that water will freeze. It'll come right up in the hose bib and freeze your pipes. Secondary thing, you need to protect it. So yeah, you can go buy one of these styrofoam covers, put it over the handle, pull it tight, and you know what? You're protected. You're done. You don't have to worry about it. Maybe. The other thing you can do, if you're like me, you typically forget about going out and putting this thing on. You wait until the night of the freeze, you run out in your pajamas and you just grab a towel, fold it over, and wrap it around the pipe. Now, I've had some old school plumbers tell me, oh, that's not gonna work, it doesn't protect the pipe. It's no different than any other insulation. It's given it a body of air to protect the pipe. If it's a windy night, you can take some duct tape. I prefer to use the blue tape nowadays because this is something I'm going to want to take off again, and the blue tape comes off a whole lot easier than the duct tape does, but this will protect the pipe. In the old days, before we had all the styrofoam covers and stuff, it used to be done with newspaper, and even in the northern states, that's the way they did it. This will do just fine for what we have here in Texas.
All right, I have a quick homeowner tip for you, and it has to do with the fact that your shingle roof is not a waterproof system, it's a watershed system. Chris Arrington, Arrington Roofing, why is that important?
Well, it's important because a water shedding system, if it has anything damming it up, will leak, like leaves, branches, anything that maybe got put on the roof. Sometimes people put up little barriers because they don't want water to run off at a certain place. That's not really good because it causes the water to dam up. And you can just imagine all those shingles, the water just runs up underneath them. So you got to keep your roof clean.
Now that doesn't mean that you have to get on your roof yourself. You can call Arrington Roofing. They will come out, clean the roof for you, make sure that it's working correctly. The most important thing, making sure that your water shedding system is able to do its job.
All right, you've got a broken pipe, or you're wanting to install some new pipe, and you don't want to call a plumber to do it. I'm going to help you out with some easy ways to install plumbing yourself. Now, when it comes to copper pipe, you know, most of the time you're thinking about sweat fittings. Well, you do have some options. Some options are these shark bite fittings. And the nice thing about shark bite, it doesn't take any tools at all. You can cut your PVC, slide this on, and it locks into place. Now, you're gonna see when you buy the fitting, there's some inserts in it. You would take these out when you're putting it onto copper pipes, because this is used for PEX plumbing. Yeah, that same shark bite can be used for both PEX and copper pipes. The advantage of that, if you got copper pipes in your house and you need to do repair, you can simply install one of these. I'm gonna just leave that in there for now, but you can install that, and guess what? You're ready to switch straight over to PEX, and your connection is done.
Hawthorne Tables claims to make the ultimate work table. In fact, they claim that their aluminum frames are about as close to indestructible as you can get. Now we'll get to that in a minute, but the first thing to find out is, do they work? All right, well, that was a lot of work, obviously. All right, here's the thing. They're a great work table as far as general use is concerned. They roll really easy. They actually make a great dolly. It's a lot lighter than I was expecting with the aluminum frame, but that's not really what we're here for. We're here to test how strong this aluminum frame really is. And for that, we're actually going to switch over to the very first Hawthorne work table ever made over 20 years ago. And that's the one we're gonna test out. This is the same piece of wood that Jackie Hawthorne put on this table over 20 years ago. Almost feels like a shame to try to break it, but that's why we're here. Saw this in a movie once. That was a little bit anticlimactic. I think we can do better. I genuinely thought we were gonna break this table today. I hit it with a sledgehammer. We dropped an old cast iron stove on it. 220 pounds of just weights. And that's not even to mention the tractor. And after all that, I don't even think Jackie needs to change the plywood on top of it. Look, if there's a stronger, more well-built work table out there, I haven't seen it. And you wanna see the best part?
We didn't think we could build the home we wanted until we found You Build It. For years, I kept clippings and took notes of the home that we wanted to build. When we met Frank and learned about the You Build It system, we knew that we could turn those ideas into a reality. By following the You Build It system, we were able to save about 15% and still get the home that we really wanted.
We've helped hundreds of people build their dream home, and we'd love to help you.
Folks hire guys like us, 'cause staining and sealing like a pro can be a real headache. And they're right, unless they know our secret.
We have a secret?
Oh yeah. Ready Seal Stain and Sealer for wood is the professional's product of choice. The one-of-a-kind formula means no laps, streaks, or back brushing required.
Hey, am I doing this right?
Doesn't matter, son. Stuff's goof-proof.
Ready Seal. Look for the goof-proof label and get it right on your first try.
Got any other secrets?
Oh, we're just getting started.
All right, guys, it's time for a Texas Home Improvement DIY. I'm here with Matt P. from Floor & Decor, and he's going to be showing us how to properly install tile. All right, Matt, what are we doing today?
All right, so today we're going to talk about installing 12 by 24 tile. It's the most popular size tile that we have in the store. And so we're going to talk about installing this by making sure that your floor is ready to go for the install. You're using the right thin set, using the right trowels, and of course, laying your tile on top properly and using great spacers. So the next step we want to do is that we actually want to get a sponge in our bucket of water, and we want to give the floor a nice little drink of water so it's easier to spread the thin set.
All right, now that the floor is wet, we're just gonna throw the thin set on and slap the tile on?
No, we're gonna throw this thin set down, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our trowel and make sure it's spread properly across the floor.
Okay, so a little more complicated than that.
Yes.
All right, so this is the part where we get to make the cool lines in the thin set, right?
Absolutely, so we're gonna grab our trowel and we're gonna use it at a 90-degree angle and we're gonna pull directly towards yourself.
Is there a particular reason for that size of trowel, for this gap?
Yes, absolutely. So on large format tile, you want to use a larger size trowel. The bigger the trowel size, the bigger the valleys and crests, as they call them. It gets better contact with the tile, so you have a less chance of a hollow spot or using not enough thin set, so that where the tile doesn't have any cracks.
That makes sense. Okay, now that this is ready, this is the point where, for me, it's the scariest part of installing tile, because now you put the tile down, make sure all the lines are perfect with these little bitty spacers. I remember when I was tiling my bathroom, this was the most the most difficult part of it for me. So is that still how you do it?
Traditionally, that's how you would use it with regular tiles, but we're gonna also open this up with a leveling spacer. That way we get clean lines, smallest grout lines possible, and a perfectly flat surface across the top.
So you're saying we don't have to use these anymore?
You don't have to use these anymore, but when we use these, we get to do just one more step, and it's called back buttering. We're gonna put a little bit of thin set on the back of our next piece of tile.
Okay. All right, now that those spacers are installed, you mentioned back buttering. That's a term that I've never heard before, so what does that look like?
So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take the next piece of our tile and we're gonna flip it over to the back, and we're actually gonna take your trowel and spread the thin set over the top of the tile to where you don't see any of the tile on the bottom anymore.
Do you need to cover everything?
So you want to have at least 90 to 95% coverage. So if you have a few spots like in your corners and pieces, that's okay. But you want to be close to about 90% to 95% completely covered on the back.
All right, now this thing is buttered, so now we flip it over and lay it down.
Yeah, we're gonna lay it down. We're gonna make sure it's butt up right up against these spacers that we just put down underneath our other piece of tile. And just make sure we give it a little wiggle to help the air escape from underneath between the trowel lines.
Okay. All right, Matt, I immediately see a problem. These are now stuck underneath the tile. What do we do about this?
So the great thing is about these systems, when you use the leveling system, once the tile has dried for about 4 to 8 hours, you can go through and use a rubber mallet or kick them off with your toe once you have these little guys sitting on top, which actually go down and cause the leveling process.
Yep.
So now that we've got these on here, what we're going to do is that we're actually going to take the tool that comes with the leveling kit, and we're going to use the nozzle, lip it inside of the plastic piece itself, and we're going to just click down.
All right, so now we're basically ready to rinse and repeat this process throughout whatever area that you're tiling, correct?
Absolutely, complete rinse and repeat all the way across your floor, even at your edges. You'll use your spacers at the edges, and just make sure you keep your tile surface clean by using your water. Just rinse it off anytime you get thin set on top, just to keep it a clean installation. And it's a very fast process once you understand and go through the routine.
Well, there you go. If you're looking to do some tiling, come into Floor & Decor. You're gonna find the products you need, but also come to the classes on Saturdays. They're gonna walk you through the process in detail, make sure you are prepared to tackle your tiling job.
It seems these days that every product is easy to use. And for a lot of them, that's not actually the case. But for Ready Seal Stain and Sealer, it actually is. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to show you. First, I need a fence. That was way harder than it looked. Okay, now that we have a fence, it's time for the Ready Seal. All right, the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is take your can of Ready Seal, shake it up a little bit. You don't have to go crazy, turn it over, shake it up a little bit. You just wanna make sure that none of the pigment is settled on the bottom. After you're done with that, it's time to meet the tools. So, got a little paint roller and a little paintbrush. I want to show you how easy it is to apply Ready Seal with both of these. As you can see, it's really easy to do. You just have to get the product on the fence. You can use a paintbrush, you can use a roller. The main thing is just get it on the wood. It's gonna level itself out. You don't have to worry about it being perfectly even because the product is going to soak into the wood and it's gonna look great. So as long as you have the product on the fence, you're pretty much set. But I'm gonna show you my favorite way of applying Ready Seal. Say hello to my pump-up sprayer. So this is it, guys. You put the Ready Seal in a pump-up sprayer, you pump it up, you spray it on the fence. It's pretty straightforward. I don't even know if this is the fastest way to apply Ready Seal because rolling it on is actually pretty fast, pretty easy. But the reason I like it so much is it's even easier. Okay, so this is really important because I just sprayed this thing. I was not very precise, as you can see, but you can also see that the Ready Seal is literally self-leveling. It is soaking in, it is filling in those gaps. Now, I just have to go back and sort of fill in the parts that I missed, and then I'm done. As you can see, it's incredibly easy to apply Ready Seal, and there's lots of different ways to do it. The big thing is just get it on the wood. And once it's on there, you don't have to worry about it.
You know, when listeners call the show, they're experiencing cracks in their walls or doors that are sticking, I'm proud to tell them to call the company that's been keeping Texans on a solid foundation since 1978, my company, Due West Foundation Repair. You won't get a salesperson trying to sell you repairs you just don't need, and most jobs come with a lifetime transferable warranty. So if you got cracks in your walls or doors that are sticking when you want the best, call Due West.
Real people steal people. They want real power, real options, and real value. Grab a lightweight battery-powered chainsaw or an easy-starting battery-powered blower. This season, get a real solution. Get a Stihl. Search STIHL or visit StihlDealers.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Douglas, owner of Advent Air Conditioning. We've proudly been servicing the heating and cooling needs of Texans since 1981.
We believe the cheapest repair that you can get is the one that you only have to do once. That's why we send all of our service technicians through over 80 hours of manufacturer training every single year. So if you have an AC or heating repair need, or you're just looking to replace the whole system for your home, give us a call. We're the comfortable solution.
All right, so you're getting ready to replumb your house, or more important, have it replumbed by a licensed plumber. And please, if you're having the entire house plumbed, make sure you pull a permit and it's by a licensed plumber. But what we're going to talk about today is PEX plumbing. Now, it comes in a lot of different styles and colors and brands. What we're going to use is Uponor. Now, Uponor has red for hot water, blue for cold water, but you know, a lot of people are just going with plain white for both hot and cold anymore. When it first came out, the colors were great, but then you got to make two different runs. Okay, when you're using PEX plumbing, there's specialty tools, especially like if you're doing Uponor. Now, this particular tool is made by Milwaukee, and what it does is it expands the pipe, and that's one of the beautiful things about PEX is it's very expandable, so you don't have to worry about it freezing. Now, you do have to worry that if you have fittings on it, that they don't freeze. And you have a choice between plastic fittings or brass. I personally like using the brass, so that's what we'll use on our demonstration here. So, I got this little piece here already cut, ready to go. The way it works, you slide your gripper here onto the pipe, stick it onto the tool, and expand it. And you see each time I'm expanding, I'm sliding a little further on, and you can see the pipe getting bigger. Once we get it all the way to the end, we take it off, we slide our fitting in, and what it's doing is it's actually shrinking back down around the pipe. And this gives it a tight grip where it doesn't come loose later. Now, this fitting we just put on here is a T, so I'm running a 3/4 inch PEX here, and you can have a 1/2 inch T coming off, or 3/4, depending on what you're running it to. But you can see this is gripped down tight onto the fitting, and it's done. It is that simple. Tools make the job. Now, yes, you could do this yourself using shark bites, but truthfully, this is the better way to do it.
All right, guys, I'm out in the chilly Texas weather right now with Frank Shelton to talk about something very important, and that is the land that you buy when you're going to build a house. This is something a lot of people don't necessarily think about when they start the process, just how important it is to have the right piece of land. Now, you've built hundreds of houses all over North Texas, so you know the importance of having the right piece of land. So what are some of the biggest things to take into account?
You know, Tim, we want to look at that land as early as we possibly can, even honestly if we can get to it before they even buy the land. Because knowing what the true development costs are going to be, you know, it's not as simple as just go, oh, this is a beautiful piece of land. We really want to look at, you know, how much clearing needs to be done, whether or not we need to bring in dirt or take out dirt. You know, we're at a property right now where, you know, just looking at it from the surface level, it looked like a really nice piece of property, but there were things that had to be, you know, thought through. There was a drainage easement across the back of the property, so proper placement of the house. Having a master plan for the property as well. A lot of times people want to build shops or swimming pools or have horse corrals, and kind of planning through all of that. And so making sure before you purchase that land that it will meet all those requirements and not break the bank in doing that. So that's why we really like to be out there as early as possible to kind of help you with that, and also maybe give you some information so that maybe help you get a better deal on the land as well.
And this also, I don't think people think about the cost associated with even just building the driveway. How far away the house is from the road can have a significant effect on the cost, can it?
Yeah, absolutely. And whether or not that road's going to need a culvert, or whether or not, you know, where's the power coming from, you know, so all those things add up, you know, as far as cost. And so knowing those as early as we can, because we're going to want to put all of that in your budget when we start, you know, planning out how much it's going to cost to really build. And so we want to make sure everything's in there.
It's really important to make sure that the land is what it needs to be. Save people a lot of money and hassle to make sure you do this work up front. Like if you're looking to build a house, you got to make sure it's on the right piece of land, and you have to understand what's going on with that piece of land before you start breaking ground. And it can save you tons of money to have a good plan together. So if you want more information about You Build It, Frank Shelton, if you've got some questions about some land that you're looking at that you want to build a house on, go to our website, thipro.com/youbuildit. Give him a call, send him a message, and he and his team will get in touch with you.
For tile, wood, and stone, come to the nationwide low price leader, Floor & Decor.
The prices are the lowest you will find.
Not only did we find lots of options, we were like, oh my gosh, it's so affordable.
It's affordable no matter what your budget.
I saved a lot of money at Floor & Decor. We came in under budget.
Way under budget.
Way under budget, yeah.
It's really the best pricing.
You're getting an incredible product for an amazing price.
Why wouldn't you want to save money and make your house look great?
I love to save money. Who doesn't like to save money?
Floor & Decor. You have to see it to believe it.
If you've priced whole home water filtration in the past and the price scared you, you need to pay attention. The DFW Water Experts are the only authorized Brita Pro dealer in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Because of this, for the month of January, we are able to offer you this Brita Pro whole home filter and softener at 50% off, saving you thousands of dollars. We also offer financing for qualified buyers. For more information, give us a call or check us out on our website.
I like gas-powered Stihl chainsaws a lot. It's what I bought when I needed to clear the piece of property that I built my house on. So when I heard that Stihl was coming out with a battery-powered electric chainsaw, I was curious. Now, I've already done a test between this battery-powered chainsaw and a gas-powered Stihl chainsaw, and I was pleasantly surprised with the results. But it made me want to go a bit more in-depth. And that's what I'm doing this morning, as soon as I finish my coffee. All right, the actual chainsaw that I'm testing today is the Stihl MSA 120C. I'm looking for three things today. First of all, how long does this battery actually last? I know that's one of the big questions people have about battery-powered tools. Second thing I'm looking for, does it have enough power to do what a chainsaw actually needs to do? And the third thing that I'm looking for today is how easy is it to use, because I know that's one of the big selling points. So, let's find out. Alright, I just got done doing some limbing, some cleaning up, and the battery says that I've used a total of 1 bar so far. So what I'm gonna do is I've got an old 4x4 out here. I'm gonna cut through this a handful of times, make the chainsaw work a bit harder, and then we'll see how the battery's doing after that. Alright, at the start of this test, I was looking for 3 things. Power, battery life, ease of use. I'll get to power in a second. Battery life, it did all of the work that you saw me do, and it still had 2 bars left on the battery. So, I have to say battery life's a check. Ease of use, incredibly easy to use. You put the battery in and basically you're ready to go. Now, as far as the power is concerned, I know a lot of people are worried about that. It did everything that I needed it to do today. It never felt like it was working really hard to do it. But here's the thing, it's not a gas-powered steel chainsaw. It does not have the same power you're gonna get with one of your gas-powered steel chainsaws. You gotta know that going into it. That's also not the point. It's not made for those big jobs. It's made for a homeowner who wants to keep their yard looking nice and do those smaller projects. And for that, it has all the power that you need.
All right, when freezing weather comes in, the first thing you hear on the news is leave the water dripping a little bit. Don't do that. If everybody left the water dripping just that much, if everybody did that, think of how many houses are in your community. Think of the loss of water pressure. When we lose water pressure, the firefighters lose the ability to put out fires, and we always have fires when it's freezing out because people are using the fireplace, heaters are going, things catch fire. It's just a problematic situation. If you'll take the time, number 1, leave the cabinet doors open under the sinks so that you get warm air circulating down there. Number 2, remove all the hoses outside and cover the hose bibs with either the styrofoam cups that you can buy at the store, or do like I do, you can wrap a towel around it and that will protect it. You know, some plumbers will tell you, oh, the towel doesn't work. You know, back in the old days, before we had the styrofoam covers, we wrapped newspapers around them and a little duct tape, and it protected them just fine. And if you go into northern states, they're not covering them all that way either. You can protect your pipes without leaving it running and causing problems for all your neighbors.
Want more Texas Home Improvement? Listen to our radio show every Saturday and Sunday right here in DFW. You can call in and get your home improvement questions answered live. For a list of stations, and if you'd like to join our team, go to thipro.com.